Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. The northern village of La Loche now joins 7 other communities under a full evacuation order. This is the Park Fire. It's forcing hundreds from their homes in the nearby village of La Loche and Clearwater Dene Nation, bringing the total number of evacuees to 3,000. According to the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, the Park Fire is currently more than 63,000 hectares. That's nearly 3 times the size of Saskatoon. La Loche residents are being bused to Regina, about an 850-kilometer drive. The SPSA says it opted for the Queen City to help keep the community together.
Choices may be divide them in between 6 or 7 small communities and split them all up and have families broken up, or to put them in a central location. In this situation, Prince Albert and Saskatoon were already full of evacuees from previous evacuations.
As of Tuesday afternoon, there are 81 active wildfires burning in Saskatchewan. A group of Indigenous women from Cumberland House and Star Blanket Cree Nation are hosting a series of events calling attention to the concerningly low water levels in their communities. The Indigenous Saskatchewan Women's Environmental Water Advocacy Keepers are calling attention to the environmental impacts of the Lake Diefenbaker irrigation project. The team recently visited the E.B. Campbell and the Gardner dams, and they say the surrounding communities are feeling the negative effects of limited access to the Saskatchewan River Delta.
It's one of those things that we need to live. We literally cannot survive without oxygen. We can't survive without water. And just because we might not have a river running through all of our municipalities like we do in Saskatoon doesn't mean that it shouldn't be at the forefront of your attention, because you need it from somewhere. And if it's gone, then what happens to you?
The group will be in Regina tomorrow to share their concerns in front of the Saskatchewan Legislative Building. A Saskatoon community garden is set to be evicted as the city looks to move quickly with repairing a long vacant plot of land that's contaminated. The Rotary Community Garden on 19th Street got an eviction letter 2 weeks ago saying the lot must be clear by August 21st. The city previously asked for the province's help in funding to remediate the land that's known to be contaminated with hydrocarbons and metal. That application was denied, but Imperial Oil, who owns the land next door, is doing remediation work of its own and can save the city $500,000 to get the land cleaned up and ready for development. The gardeners say they're not only surprised this is happening, they're shocked at the lack of solutions to let them harvest.
There's just no perfect way forward, unfortunately, where we sit today.
I think council and the community are being railroaded by the administration, and I think the administration is allowing itself to be railroaded by Imperial Oil.
City administration says it will continue to work with the group to move the garden and find a home for next season. There's an unassuming piece of land on the northwest corner of the university along the river. It's serving many purposes by helping students learn, but also helping the homeless by providing a nutritious snack. The edible shelter belt was started by students in a sustainability action class back in 2019. This plot has persevered despite many obstacles like exposure to harsh elements and going through COVID when no students were around to care for it. It became a labor of love for the students who created it, but also the classes who followed, maintaining it along with volunteers. Now, there isn't a lot of fruit as we're in between Saskatoon and chokecherry season, but you might find cranberries and haskaps, as well as cherries and apples, all up for grabs.
But the people who kind of actually do most of the picking and eating tend to be on the homeless community. That's here. They'll sit on the park bench. It's a place for them to sit and enjoy the views and then get a handful of berries that are nutritious for them when sometimes they're just hungry.
Other student projects from Laroque's class include bat boxes and painting picnic tables. Well, Jeff, I think rain was kind of in the forecast, and I don't think anyone's going to complain when we don't get it, but maybe up north.
Well, up north is where we need it. We thought we were going to get some rain yesterday. Certainly, I talked about it, but that system moved to the east of Saskatoon, so it's sidestepped the Bridge City. But other parts of the province, like Prince Albert area, we have a slow-moving system, a low that is moving in from Alberta, and that is likely going to be bringing some scattered showers, but we'll talk about the precipitation later on.
The NDP is calling out the government of Saskatchewan for allowing a U.S.-based company to purchase an agricultural logistics business that operates within Saskatchewan. Ceres Global Ag Corp is an agricultural, energy, and industrial products supply chain company operating 13 locations across North America, including Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Ceres had formerly promised to build a $350 million canola crush plant southeast of the province, but canceled back in 2022. Now it's being acquired by Bartlett, an American agricultural corporation. The NDP says the provincial government should be exploring its investments within Canada, especially during a time of a trade war with the U.S.
This is a time when we should be doing everything we can, especially with like strategic economic infrastructures, power, rail, energy assets. We should be ensuring Canadian ownership, if not Saskatchewan ownership, not continually allowing big multinational corporations or American corporations to come in and scoop up Saskatchewan assets.
CTV has reached out to the province for comment. We'll have more on that at 6 o'clock. After the break, Name That Crane, Jasmine Pelche finds out about the contest and the story behind it. From the big cranes helping move construction materials at the new hospital in Prince Albert came a contest to give those towers a little more personality. Jasmine Pelche has more on the creative colors suggested and the names for the cranes.
So the Name That Crane contest recently came to a close. Could you explain what that contest was?
It was just our attempt as a foundation to reach out to the community, get them involved. These two cranes have been part of the Prince Albert skyline for quite some time now. And why not give them a bit of a personality, you know? And we thought, well, let's get the kids involved. There's nothing cooler to kids than cranes. I know I was pretty excited to see these things go up and start the construction of our expansion and renovation of our hospitals. So, yeah, kids like to color. And we asked several schools in the area. I think it was around 10 to 15 schools, and kids from grade 1 to I think grade 3. And there was a lot of pictures that came in, and everybody did their own rendition of their coloring, and they got to name specifically each crane. And so then we as a foundation got to go through all of them, make our top 10 list, and then narrow it down to 2 specific names for the cranes. And we named them Dr. Crane and Ooga Booga, I believe. Yeah.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
How did you decide out of all, I'm sure there were a lot of fun names with all the kids. Like, was that a tough thing for the foundation? Or?
Yeah, it was super tough. There was never a bad name that came in, and all the pictures were so unique in their own way. And it was, there were some ones that stood out, but Ooga Booga, Dr. Crane, and if anybody knows Frasier, Dr. Crane kind of came to mind for me. So that's where that kind of settled in for me. I don't know where the inspiration came for these names, but it was definitely, they gave us a run for our money on which names to go with for these 2 cranes.
Yeah, sounds like it. What was the ultimate goal of having like a community engagement contest like this?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about healthcare and getting that message out there that people make a huge impact in their own community by not just fundraise or for making donations for these fundraisers, but you know, just involving them in any kind of process that they can get involved with, right? And so now these now all these kids that participated got to say they helped try to name these cranes, and the fact that we were able to settle with these two. That's two kids in this community that can go and say, I named that crane.
Which crane is which? Do you know?
Yes. So we had actually an extensive conversation just yesterday about this. It was kind of hard to describe. So the farthest crane from the foundation office, which I believe is the northwest crane, that is Ooga Booga. And the crane closest to the foundation office, which would be Dr. Crane.
Is there anything we didn't talk about yet that it's important to get across, or?
I think it's important to know that our provincial government is supporting the construction of the hospital, but as a community, we need to fill it. It's all about the equipment, surgical chairs. As simple as that. That's what the fundraising efforts for Equip the Vic is to fill the hospital once it's built and once it's opened. We're literally increasing the capacity of our hospital by 40%, and the fact that we're going to be able to bring the fact that we're going to be able to bring in modern surgical suites and operating rooms, new mental health inpatient units. It's huge. So, I think I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me here and explaining all of that.
Well, thank you. And equipthevic.ca if you want to make your donation online.
When we come back, Jeff has a look at our weather forecast, and later topping off a memorable concert how with a proposal. So here we go, Jeff. Depending on what your forecast is, we'll have to take a look at the tee times at the golf course and see if you get the only one. But what do we have in store for the next few days?
Well, the next few days, interesting to say next few days, the propensity for rain is much greater. I love saying propensity, is much greater as we head into the weekend. But this has been fluctuating, John. The forecast has been sort of... not saying on again, off again, but once again, it's been real mercurial. So we can take a look. There's another low pressure system and the weather associated with that forming in British Columbia, actually forming on the Alberta side of the Rockies, and it's continuing to move this way. But it's a slow-moving low. Now, the good news is we hope it picks up more in the way of moisture as it makes its way into Saskatchewan for the weekend. There's going to be a series of lows, so it may not be that specific one, but ultimately, we're hoping for more rain up north, and we'll have to wait and see because it looks like it's going to be a relatively rainy weekend. But right now, we're keeping our eye on that one low, and it is continuing to move, as I say, at a very slow pace into Saskatchewan, but it will have an impact. But Spiritwood expecting to hit 13 degrees overnight or drop to 13 degrees. The same for Rostern. Not too cold overnight in North Battleford. Might be some uncomfortable sleeping conditions there. 16 degrees overnight. 11 in Candle Lake and Nipawin. 12 for Birch Hills and Melfort. Then as we take a look at Thursday, Spiritwood, a chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm, a high of 21. But the Battleford's 23 degrees, 23 under cloudy skies in Candle Lake, 22 in Birch Hills, Rostern areas under cloudy skies, 26, so a hot day in Nipawin, mainly cloudy conditions there, and cloudy in Melfort, and a high of 23. So that is the issue for those areas tomorrow, but things are going to change by the time we get to Friday. A slight chance of showers tonight for Prince Albert area, an overnight temperature of 12 degrees. The wind's backing off. There might be some local smoke in the area. 23 degrees tomorrow with cloudy skies and winds from the south at 10. And then as we take a look at the 7-day forecast for the Gateway City, here's what I'm talking about. Friday, temperatures cool off because we're expecting some rain to start probably in the early part of the day. A 70% chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm. Saturday, much less chance of some showers, but it's still there, about a 40% chance. Sunday and Monday, temperatures below seasonal at 22 degrees, 21 on Tuesday. And Wednesday, a somewhat chilly 18 degrees, but that's still a few days away, so that could change.
So you're saying Friday, Saturday, if it's not raining, we know where to find you. It'll be on the 13th green at Cook Municipal Golf Course,
That's right. I'll be holding up my putter.
There you go. Well, there's less than a month until the Labor Day Classic, and it's officially sold out. But while the stadium will be packed, it's probably not going to break a Labor Day attendance record. Matt Young has this week's Classic Sports Moments.
The Riders have played in front of some big crowds on Labor Day, but none have been bigger than in 2013, when 44,910 packed Taylor Field to watch the Green Machine take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Saskatchewan was hosting the Grey Cup that year, so that's why they had some extra seats set up for fans. On that day, quarterback Darian Durant, along with running back Corey Sheets, lit it up as Durant passed for over 300 yards and Sheets carried the rock for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. Saskatchewan went on to win that game 48-25. It was celebration in Riderville. Of course, the only win for the Riders bigger than that one in 2013 was the Grey Cup game played in November. And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and wood-finished televisions, you can check them out on our website.
A AAA hockey team of Indigenous athletes from across Canada is overseas for elite hockey competitions. But before they left, the team had a special send-off recognizing the nations and families who had worked so hard to make this trip possible. CTV's Connor Hogg was there.
I get to play in Germany. That's a dream come true.
A send-off ceremony unlike many that are held for AAA teams of this caliber, and that's by design. The teammates of the First Nations Voyageurs come from all over Canada to play together, breaking barriers on the world stage.
Elite hockey is crazy expensive, and these guys wanted to ensure that our boys get this exposure.
Julianne Yellowbird is the team's self-described momager.
I'm going to wait for you guys at the airport.
Yellowbird says financial barriers have historically prevented Indigenous players from pursuing hockey. Their nations and sponsors, with the help of fundraisers, are paying this team's way, with players from across the country competing for a spot on the Voyageurs lineup.
Voyageurs on me, Voyageurs on 3. 1, 2, 3, Voyageurs!
Combine that athleticism, but not to forget and put in the forefront that identity piece.
Players say the team is about more to them than just hockey.
I didn't really know much about my culture before, but being on this team got me to many powwows, taught me how to drum, sing, and yeah, just a lot of new things. I just knew we were going to be buds right away, like friends for sure.
Cultural teachings intersecting with elite training.
I think it just helps us grow more as a team together, getting to learn our culture together. It feels like we're a family and more connected to each other because we know the background that we have come from.
Yellowbird says there is already talk about creating a U18 group next year, as well as an all-girls team, so more young athletes can have the same experience.
It just seems like they found a sense of identity with each other I've never seen a group of boys click so well.
There's a lot of nervousness, but I'm also really excited because I get that exposure and I get to see the world.
The Voyageurs are on their way. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
Canadian medical experts say measles transmission in our country continues to soar. As CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, it could result in Canada losing its status as a country in which measles has been eliminated in just a matter of weeks.
Canada was declared to have eliminated measles in 1998.
So measles elimination is defined by the World Health Organization, and it means that within a certain geographical area, in this case Canada, that there is no sustained transmission of measles over a 12-month period.
Jana Shapiro from the University of Toronto says it doesn't mean there were 0 cases, just no sustained transmission.
And now that we've seen a resurgence in the past year or so in Canada, we are at risk of losing that elimination elimination status in 2025.
10 of our 13 provinces and territories have seen cases. Alberta has over 1,600 cases of measles, and Ontario has seen more than 2,300.
We really had our bulk of our cases in kind of March, April, but that's not yet the case in Alberta. I think there's still quite a few new cases being reported on a weekly basis.
Many of the cases sprang from a single event in New Brunswick last October, which led to transmission in other provinces.
I have a lot of concerns, very deep concerns, professionally, foremost, and also personally. Professionally, because measles is truly the most contagious virus that you can come in contact with.
Michelle Knorr was diagnosed with measles in May and was hospitalized for several days despite getting a vaccination decades ago. And as a teacher, she worries about measles spread.
Average 32 kids in a classroom in city schools. It would be a really dangerous thing to have classrooms of children taken out by the measles. And most will manage it. Most will be able to be resilient and overcome it, but some may not.
Shapiro says Canada could lose its measles eliminated status as early as October and says public health vaccination efforts must continue. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Well, Jeff, for musical acts, this one probably tops it. High Valley ended its concert at the Saskatoon exhibition with a grand finale on Friday. The band brought up this couple on stage for a surprise proposal. After popping the question, the newly engaged couple danced to the last song of the night, Make You Mine. High Valley later congratulated Brett and Cassie on Instagram, and that's a pretty cool way to celebrate. And boy, you're lucky she said yes, right?
and look, they can dance too, so that's impressive. You know, that won't be an awkward moment at the ceremony, or at least the wedding reception. So
you don't have to have that.
Congratulations to that young couple, you bet.
They won't have to get their gym teacher to teach them how to dance. If you remember American Wedding or the American Pie franchise. Well, we forgot to finish this one, Jeff, and it's probably a cool one. There was talk about the earthquake in Esterhazy area just the other day, and you didn't get to tell the story. You've been in not one, but...
One was a slight tremor when I was visiting my brother and soon-to-be sister-in-law in Japan many years ago, and the other was a long time ago. It was an aftershock of the Whittier quake, and that was in 1988. But the one in the aftershock was much more substantive than that tremor in Japan. It's pretty interesting to go through that.
There you go. 4.5 on May 8th, 2018 in Palm Springs. Don't ask why I was awake at 5 a.m.